Hello, everyone. I'm going to give you a minute to get settled here. Who is getting ready for back to school? Let us know as you are getting settled, as you are making sure all your audio is working and you can hear us okay. Go ahead and put in the chat when you go back to school because I know it's coming right around the corner. I have some friends that are starting next week, and I have some friends that are starting the first week in August. So it is coming super quickly. Um, I know back to school is a busy, busy time, so we do appreciate you taking the moment tonight to watch this and be here with us. And if you are watching the replay, I hope you are getting the benefit from this as well. You are welcome to leave every question and comment that you have below in our YouTube video as you see this replay. It looks like we got some people coming in. A lot of people starting on August
August,
4th or
yeah,
3rd.
first week of August. Wow.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, a year-round school, 11-month school. So they are back already and have 2 weeks left. And then they're off for 3 weeks. So you get your summer then. So your summer's still coming. So hang in there, almost there. August 25th, so a little bit later. Okay. I know there's some that start back in September. I haven't seen that yet, but good to know.
We'll
Between
we'll catch
August
we'll
3rd and
catch
August
them.
10th.
We'll catch the northern schools when they come back right before Labor Day.
Yep, here comes New York
Yeah.
starting September after Labor Day. There we go. So good. Glad you guys can hear us. Oh, July 27th. So you're starting next week. You're already ready to go. So this is perfect timing for you as we help you set up your account for back to school with Boom Learning. So you are in the right place. If this is the webinar that you signed up for, I am Heather Cassiopo. If you are not familiar with who I am the Boom Publisher Manager here, supporting all of our publishers and all the needs that they have. Or if you have any questions about becoming a publisher, I will have my email at the end and we can talk about creating and publishing. I'm also joined here with John Standel. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. My name is John Standel. I'm the vice president of growth for the company. Um, Even though I say that, I have my master's in speech therapy, my master's in special ed, and I've been building content and working with companies for let's just say 25 years. I don't want to go any higher than that because it makes me sad. I'm super excited. Heather's going to take you through the beginning of the webinar, and then I'm going to get into the actual app and show you some tricks and tips on getting back into the swing of school year and things that we have that you can use immediately when you get back.
Yeah,
Thanks.
thanks, John. Also, my background is in special education. So if you are in speech pathology or special education, you are talking to your people. We totally understand everything you do and appreciate everything you do this school year and every school year because we've been there too. We know the stress level that it can become.
Especially now.
Yeah.
Especially now.
Yes. Yes. Caseloads changing constantly, schedules constantly changing. So hopefully, Boom is the one thing that stays on your schedule truly and does not change. So, today's goal is to help you set up your classroom, your Boom classroom. We want to make sure you are organizing your students into classrooms that make sense for you and how you want to run your lessons on Boom Learning. Finding and assigning decks. Sometimes our store is a little bit cumbersome, so we're going to talk through how to find the filters, how to find the best decks for you, and truly what you're looking for. And then we're going to show you some ways to play and how to differentiate those decks so that your students are most successful. This is being recorded and there will be a replay posted to our YouTube channel. So if you need to leave or you need to step away, there will be a replay that I will send out tomorrow for you to watch. Okay, so we love a good agenda to just kind of walk us through exactly what we're going to do. So we are going to review account setup, classroom creation, rostering students, and then we're going to show you a couple ways to do that. Searching that Boom store, getting decks to your library, assigning those decks, different ways to play that are not assigning, because there's a couple different ways to play. Did you know that? And how to differentiate those decks, because we know we have lots of different learners in our classrooms and in our groupings. So we need to make sure that we are differentiating and meeting the needs of all of those students. Of course, throughout, you are welcome to ask any questions. The chat is open, and we will keep an eye on that and do a Q&A at the end. So, if you are unfamiliar with what Boom cards are, they are digital interactive task cards that you can find online in the Boom Learning platform. We can use them in multiple ways. I've used them personally in my special education classrooms before with whole group, small group, one-on-one instruction, independent work even. I had a lot of my students working on. You can assign the practice. We can do fast pins and hyper plays. And you can also print the materials. You can print them off, make them task cards. That was always one of my favorite ways to play in knowing that I didn't have to always have it digital, but we will show you how to do that as well. I love that Boom Cards adjust to student needs. So it will show you how fast a student responds, how slow they respond, how many times they got it incorrect before they got it correct. And so you can make adjustments based on the difficulty of those decks. And of course, those reports will show all of that statistics for you. Okay. We love Boom. Of course, we are biased, but we love Boom because it can be used a variety of ways. It's not just for general education students. It's not just for special education students. We have a lot of homeschool families that will use Boom cards as well, or parents who are just interested in some extra practice. And we embrace all of that. We love that there's a variety of ways that we can use Boom, especially for IEP skill practice, data collection, progress monitoring. And now we've added this past year standards-based activities. So as you are looking through the store, John's going to show you where to find those standards just to make sure that you're hitting on all of those things that you need to be teaching this school year and making sure that deck or that Boom card aligns to the standards that you are teaching. And we love that Boom saves you time. They are ready to use activities already done for you. You don't have to do any creating yourself. That's what we love about it. You can, but you don't have to. There's so many flexible ways to play, easy assignments, built-in differentiation, less prep for centers. It's assign and go. Let the students log in, and it's there for you, done. They click it on, and it goes. We also love the immediate feedback. I know that's not on this list, but your students get that immediate feedback if they get it wrong or they get it correct and they move on to the next card. If they get it wrong, they get to try again, which is always really great for that skill drill and that practice and that repetition as they are learning along the way. So let's get you set up in 5 different steps here. 5 steps is all we're going to go through today. We're going to talk about how to create an account. If you don't have one already, you can totally start doing that now, or we can just show you how to do that. We're gonna teach you how to organize your classroom and set up a class, whether you want to do it manually or with your school's LMS. We have a lot of different platforms that we can build your roster in for you. We're going to show you how to assign those decks, differentiate decks, and play. I think play is always my favorite part of this because there are so many ways that you can hit student needs and have the decks be accessible for your students. Okay. So, like I said, we're going to talk through that teacher dashboard and setting all of that up for you nice and slow here. Then we're going to go through that rostering with Google Classroom, Clever, ClassLink, Canvas, or just manually. Then talking about the Boom store, how to use the filters on that left-hand side, how to use the search bar, narrow it down exactly what you need, make sure it is accessible, making sure it is standard aligned, making sure it is the appropriate grade level for you. We will talk through all of that. And again, one of my favorite ways is to hide cards and use that custom place settings. So turning off randomized cards, not showing an answer if a student tries to skip it, because that's something that sometimes our students get smart and they realize, oh, if I just skip the card, it will show the answer. You can turn that off, which is a really cool feature. So, and of course, play. So we're going to walk through kind of all of these steps here to assign, presentation mode, fast pin, hyperplay, and print. So we're going to show you all of those things that are in your action menu there as you get a deck. So John, I'm going to have you go ahead and take over and you can show us all of these things.
I think you need to give me access.
Got you. You can totally have your Boom site open as well at the same time. Valerie just asked us. That is totally fine if you want to follow along with us. Or like I said, this is being recorded and we will send out the replay that you could watch this another time as well and follow along. Whatever's easier for you to learn.
Thanks, Heather. All right, everyone. So Microsoft has a 95% rule. 95% of us only use really 5% of what Microsoft Office gives. We'll send an email, we'll fire up a Word document. We don't use all the really cool features. And what I find with SaaS-based companies in the ed tech world is that that same percentage kind of rings true. Teachers come in, they grab a boom deck. When Heather and I say boom deck, that just means a lesson. So they'll grab a boom deck / lesson, open it up in presentation mode, use it with their class, use it with a student, and then they move on from that. That's literally the 5% that people use. There are a ton of features buried within the product. We're going to keep this very high level tonight. However, once you get into it, and just to give you an idea, when we train school districts on how to implement Boom, it's anywhere from like a 4 to 6 hour training. So I'm literally going to try and take a ton of information and give it to you in about 20 minutes. That's why it's recorded. We also have other supports for you to learn how to use it, anywhere from YouTube channels to the Boom Training Academy, which we'll see in a little bit, and short reels and TikToks that people can just grab and watch. So the first thing, if you already have an account, great. You can already log in. If you want to get an account, you can try it for free by clicking here. You got to go through, agree to everything, and then choose how you want to join. Once you join, and this is where people get hung up sometimes, you're going to get a verification email. Sometimes that verification email will go to your spam, which we can't control. So if you don't get a verification email within a couple of minutes, check your spam. It might have ended up there. Once you verify that you're you and via your email, you can then log in. So there are multiple ways to log in. I can just sign in with my email. I can sign in with Google if that's how I register myself with Microsoft. If I'm a district that uses Clever or ClassLink, I can sign in with those two features. You just have to link those accounts if you're an admin to your school account, your school Clever account. So I'm a Microsoft user. I'm just going to sign in, and it's going to bounce me in. I'm going to walk you through the points that Heather brought up in the exact same manner she brought them up, but I'm just going to show you some features that I like to use when I work with teachers to get them to be organized and get them to be more efficient. I always tell people, do as I say, not as I do, and you'll see why in a minute. Having your classrooms be organized and clean, having your library folders be organized and clean will save you a lot of headaches. It'll also help you to prepare. So before I work with anyone, I always say, figure out your class, who's in your class, how are you going to group the kids, build those groups of students, and then go into the library, start finding content and pulling that content over for the kids to start using. So the first place you end up is right on your dashboard, which shows you your classes. It shows you if you have a colleague, if you're in a shared account, if you're in a Boom Access Plus account or a Passport account, you can share students with each other so you can actually look at what's going on with the student.
John, would you be able to zoom in at all?
Sure.
Thank you.
It will show you what your recent decks are that you've played. It'll show you what you've recently added to your library. And then it'll show you currently what you're creating in Boom Studio. Tonight, we will not get into Boom Studio because it is literally a monster and there are always questions on how to create in it. Boom Studio is an authoring tool, meaning you can pretty much do whatever you want within some limitations. You can see I'm currently building some solar system books and stuff that I've been working on. So first and foremost, classes. Now, we call groupings of students classes. They mean the same thing. Just think of when you see classes, how are you going to group your kids within your classrooms? You can see I have TJ Churl is trying to share 4 students with me. I leave that up there just for demonstration purposes. If I click on it, I can then see those students he's going to share with me and I can look at their data. What I have in here are the classes with the students in there that I'm going to be seeing. Before you start creating classes, I encourage you, grab a piece of paper, write down what does your class schedule look like? How are you going to group the kids? Your high reading group, your low reading group, your one-on-one student, your behavior student, your if a speech path is coming in, are you going to group the kids for individual or group therapy with a speech pathologist? Um, if you have students that have behavioral issues that you want to track and have them do some behavioral programming, what are you going to do there? If you're working on transition skills for groups A, B, and C, how do you want to do it? So before you just start building groups, think of how is my class going to be set up and how am I going to group my kids? Then all you simply have to do is click on new classroom, and I can tell the system how I want to create the new classroom. I can either import them through your LMS, for lack of better terms. If you're Google Classroom, Clever, ClassLink, or Canvas, you can pull the students in that way. And because I'm not linked to any of those, if I just click on it, it's going to ask me how I'm going to do it. And because I'm not tied to a ClassLink account, I can't do it that way. I can just create a new classroom, and I now have classroom 11 in here twice because I did one earlier today. Each class, you can rename anything you want. So if I want class 11 to be renamed, I can literally come up here and I could type in, this is my back to school class for 2026, 2027 school year. There's a classroom code. There's a password for this classroom that you'll have that you can share with the teacher if you need to, and that currently this classroom is private. Within this classroom, I can add students one at a time, or I can upload students via a Excel file. However you want to add them is totally up to you. Just clicking on add new student, I can click their nickname, their password, create them. So if I want to just create Heather, and I just call her H. Oh, sorry, that's her password. Her password's going to be Heather 2026. And I can go in here and edit I can go in here and edit her username whenever I want. So the first thing you want to do is think about how you want to create your classrooms and then start bringing students into those classrooms. You can set passwords, which we're not going to get into because that's more high level. I can give the students a QR code to join the classroom. There's a lot of cool little features behind the scene that we just won't get into tonight, but this is the first big step. So you can build up to 17 different classrooms. People always ask me why 17? I have no idea. Dev picked the number. I don't think Heather and I have ever asked them why it's 17. So it's just 17. We've never had anyone ask us for more classrooms. So we know that there's not a teacher out there that we're working with that has more than 17 classrooms or groupings of students right now. All right, so that is how you build a classroom. So now I have all my classrooms built, my day schedule out. I know what I want to do. And for my Eagle readers, I just have one student in there. And maybe I want to book on, oh, what holiday do we have coming up? Let's see if we have a Labor Day book in our library. So now I'm going to click on our library. I have my classroom set up, and I'm going to go over to my library. Before I start searching the library, on the left-hand side, I have a ton of folders. And Heather, do you know how many folders we can have? I don't know if there's an actual number on that.
I don't believe there is.
If I remember right, everyone, this might be wrong. I think it's 999 folders for some reason. I could be wrong. You can organize your folders so when you bring your decks over, your lessons over, they're going to fall into your massive library right here, which I'm flipping through. But I can grab those and put them into the appropriate folder so they're easier to find for me. So if I want to add a new folder and I want to call this folder Labor Day, if I could type, I can create that folder Labor Day. Now there's nothing in that folder. So back in my library, you can see there's nothing in there right now. It's just a blank folder. I'm going to go and look for anything that could be Labor Day related. So I'm just going to type in Labor Day and let's see what we get. Oh, it's because I'm searching in the Boom folder.
Yep. You could go to the store potentially.
Sorry. So
no, you're good.
Here I'm in the store now. I want to find some lessons. It always takes you to featured. All of the decks, all the lessons are under the decks. Now, if you're a Boom Premium Core or a Boom Access Plus subscriber, you have access to purchase. Currently think there's 500,000 decks in that library. If you're a Boom Passport subscriber, you have your standard 95,000, 96,000 decks that are part of that subscription. You can see I have Passport turned on. When I turn it off, I now have the 500,000 decks. So if I search for Labor Day now in the 500,000, decks on Labor Day start pulling up. And maybe I want this one. Now, if there's a little globe on it, it means it's part of Boom Passport. If there's no globe, it's not part of Boom Passport. Boom Passport is our kind of premier subscription where schools buy it for the teachers to use, and it comes with the 95,000 decks, 96,000 decks as part of it. So let's say I absolutely love this one. I kind of take a look at it, I preview it, and I say, yep, love this one. I'm going to add it to my library. And now I'm going to view the item. It bounced me from the store back to my library, and here is that deck. Now, I don't want it in this folder, in my massive folder that's sitting there right now. I want it in that Labor Day folder right here. I can just take it and drag it, and now it's in that Labor Day folder. So now I can start organizing. I got my classes organized. I can now organize the content of how I want the kids to be assigned that content. So I can have my math, my reading, my transition, my speech and language, my OT, Adaptify Ed, whatever I want, I can organize my library of content in a way that works for me. Once your library is filled, now remember when I said earlier, do as I say, not as I do. You'll notice if I go back to all of my content in my library of just my purchase unfolder, mine's just a mess. Like I really have not done a good job at organizing my folders. It's just because of the demo purposes we do. If you keep these really organized, think of the organization of your closet. If you've ever taken everything out of your closet and you're like, I'm going to organize my closet, and you get all your jeans and all your sweaters and all your workout gear organized, it's much more easy to go into your closet and see what you need to buy, what you need to use, what can go to Goodwill. Treat this the same way. It will make your days so much easier. It speeds up the prep time you have to get the kids ready, to get your classroom ready, because you know where everything is, and you can just start assigning stuff before the kids even come into the classroom. They can grab their technology, or the parapro can grab their printables, and you're off and running before you have to do anything. So just keep that in mind when you're looking at how am I going to organize this and what's going to make sense for me. Now that we have things in our library, you can start assigning these. So far, I haven't tied my library back to my classrooms yet. To do that, every deck, every lesson has features tied to it. You'll notice I have a bunch of actions, which we'll talk about in a minute. But more importantly, this deck I chose completely randomly is completely accessible. So it has accessibility for kids that have visual, hearing, and or motoric impairment. So kids that might use a switch to get through their activities, or they're visually impaired where they need to have a screen reader read for them. This activity is already built for them. When you're in the Boom store, on the left-hand side are a ton of filters. I can filter by grade. So if I'm teaching a second, third, and fourth grade level students, I can click on that. It's finding things for me right now that are tied still to Labor Day. If I remove Labor Day, it just opens up the filter completely. I can filter by subject area. So if I really want to get filtered, I want to go down to mathematics and look at elementary, and I want fractions for fractions and numbers, or equivalents and fractions. Let's see what I'll pull. Let's see what else will pull up. Oh, I got to get rid of Labor Day because it's still sitting there. It's going to start filtering for me. If that's not enough filtering, I can go and look at my educational standards and I can select a framework. Currently, right now, today, we have alignments for Common Core and we have alignments for the TEKS standards for Texas. We will be adding other states this school year for you. So if you're in Florida, if you're in Atlanta, if you're in Georgia, if you're in Minnesota, Indiana, we will be incorporating other state standards that are not Common Core or TEKS for Texas into our educational standards. It just takes us a little bit of time to do it. We have to wait till the states go out of draft format so they actually formalize their standards and they're done changing numbers or anything. It's just easier for us. And then last but not least, accessibility. You can turn these on or off to see what do you have that's accessible for my kids to use. So if you have stuff that's important, if you have kids that have visual, auditory, and or motoric issues, you can turn those features on or off to really hone in what you need. Again, the 95/5 rule, most teachers, when I show them this, don't even know it exists. They go right to the store, they search for something, they grab it, and they start using it right away. They don't realize that they can really hone in on their search features that they want and really find the level of content that works for their kids. So let's go back to my library and back to the Labor Day book. Now, here's my Labor Day book. When I click on it, the first thing I can do is I can view it in prep mode or presentation mode. Prep mode is your mode. It's the teacher's mode. It's designed to have you get this ready for the kids to use. And let me just make this a little bit smaller. So I can kind of look at what the lesson is, and it says prep mode, not to be used for students. This allows you to get it ready for the kids to use. So this is where you can start differentiating some of the materials. If I look at it, I want to start hiding cards, and this is probably not the best one to do, but we'll make it work. You can hide the card. Imagine if this was a number identification of 0 through 9, and I just wanted the students to work on 0 through 3. That's all we're focusing on. I can hide anything that has 4 through 9. I just go into the deck, start hiding it. When it's assigned to the kids, they're just going to see the decks that have 0 through 3 in it. So you have a lot of features already built in that you can utilize with the students to differentiate it for their instructional practice. So they're not seeing stuff that's too hard. So they're not getting frustrated, not getting stressed out, and then demonstrating behaviors or shutting down on you. You have a lot of abilities with the differentiation capabilities. And this was a horrible example to show you, but it's what we're working with right now. I apologize.
But it could be community helpers, and you've only taught certain community helpers, and you didn't teach about a lifeguard yet, so you want to hide that card.
Yeah, absolutely. When you click on actions, and this is where people get lost right away because there's a ton of actions in here. One, I always push this one forward. Print. Every lesson, every deck and boom can be printed off. If you have kids that are low tech, no tech, that you want to print off communication boards, you want to take something and make it into a manipulable. You want the OT to do some scissoring activities and cut out money. You can print off every deck. If you have students that don't have good technology at home, you can print off decks. You can email decks to parents, and they can print them off as a PDF. Super great to use. No one uses it because they don't know it exists. They forget that it's there. Here's my presentation mode. Maybe the first time I work with my class, we're going to do this as a whole class activity. I can fire it up in presentation mode, and I can stand in front of my smartboard or in front of my computer, and I can walk the kids through this and see, can we get it right? Can we get it wrong? When I get it right, it just scores it as correct. We move on. I say, find the hardworking mail carrier. If I get it right, I call Heather up. She gets it wrong. Where's my little mirror? There it is. I click it. Data is being collected right now, but it's being collected as a whole group experience. It's not being collected because it's not tied to a student. Once I tie this deck to a student and that student interacts with it, only data will be tied to their profile. So that presentation mode, when I work with classroom teachers, I like to show them that to say, this is a great way to do a whole group experience to get the whole class involved. So differentiation across the kids is working for everyone and you can move them forward. After I go in and I modify it, differentiate it to meet the kids' needs, then I kind of start assigning it. So if you remember, I have that one student in this one class for this Eagle Readers that's going to work on this. I can assign it to that student and it's done. Now, when that student logs in, they're going to see they have this lesson to do. Maybe they're completely independent. They can log in independently, grab their iPad, do it by themselves. If it's a parapro, the parapro can log in. Or if I need to print it off for the student, I can always print it off for them. So you can assign it however you want. That's why I wanted you to get your classroom set up first, find the content, differentiate it, and then tie it to the kids or kid you want them to use. FastPin. FastPin is a great way. The students can just use it. It generates a pin and you can give it to the kids to use. If kids are independent, this is a great way for you to use it. Fast plays do not collect data. So if it's a fast play and you want to collect data, don't use it. If you just want the students to use it as a rec tool, say, hey, here you go. Here's something fun to do. Boom, they can use it. It just generates a pin. The kids can scan it with their iPad, or you can copy it and they can paste it and you can use it that way. If you wanted to collect data, I can send them a hyperplay link where I can use this link, copy it, send it to them. Hyperplay links do collect data. So when the kids are using it and they're signed in under their account, it will collect data for you. Obviously, the print's right there. Custom play settings. Heather showed you this earlier. I bet less than 1% of our 1.4 million teachers knows this exists. You can show if they surrender. If they just go, I don't know what this is, I give up, they surrender, it'll show that. You can turn that on or off. You can turn on or off multiple plays. I may want to use a deck or a lesson for a pre and post assessment and say, nope, not multiple plays. We're doing it straight through, independently go. Show me what you know for a baseline. I work with them for a couple of sessions, a couple of days, a month. I then come back, do it again, see how they did. Custom, if the multiple plays aren't on, it just gives them a one and done type activity. I can save it. So if I'm going to assign this deck to a student and I don't want them, if they surrender, I want to know if they surrendered and I don't want them to have multiple plays, I can shut it off, save it, and then assign it. And then that student's going to play with it that way. So again, a great tool. Very few people use it. Reports we're not going to look at. Whenever you look at when the students are interacting with it, they're collecting data. When I built Unique Learning System, we had pre and post assessments. We would pre-test the kids at the beginning of the month and post-test them at the end of the month. That's not enough data for our kids. I like the fact that every time a student interacts with a lesson or a deck and boom, we're collecting data. Why? Because 2 points in time is not a data line. It's just 2 points in time. For our students we work with, I like the trench warfare data, how they do day to day. The days we see behavioral issues, we're probably going to see results that are not as good as days where there aren't behavioral issues. The days where their meds are off, the days they're tired, the days that they're getting some really good one-on-one positive reinforcement, we might see higher outputs. You want to be able to collect all that data. You can do that within Boom because it's going to show you that, I always call it trench warfare data. If the kids go home and you assign them a hyperplay link to do it at home, maybe the student is getting 20% in the classroom, but at home, they work really well with their older brother or sister and they come back and they're at 70, 80%. And you kind of query the family like, oh, are they doing it independently or is their big brother or sister helping them? And the mom or dad are like, no, they really work well with them. Maybe that brother or sister can get them to do things you're not seeing at school. It just allows you to scrape that scratch and sniff sticker a little bit and see what is the student really doing? What does it look like? So again, ton of features that you have at your fingertips. Just remember that they're there for you to use. This, and I'm going to send this back to Heather in a minute, but I just want to finish on a couple of things. One, we're here for you. If you need help, reach out, send us an email. Our customer service desk and our sales desk, everyone is capable of reaching out and either pointing you to resources that we have or answering your questions. We try and turn around all questions within 48 hours or 2 business days because we know you guys don't have a lot of time. Once you get back into school, it's really tough. We try and keep people free from 7 to 8 in the morning and 3 to 5 in the afternoon because that's when you might have some time. If you need a phone call, all of my teams have their cell phones and their emails on their email signatures. You can text us, email us, call us, and if we're available, we'll be more than happy to help you out. So feel free to utilize this as a reference. Your success is our success. Our mission as a company is to make students' gains better by supporting the teachers. So the better we are at figuring out where you're struggling or how we can help you to help your students, that's what our end goal is. So make sure that you help us.
Awesome.
All right, Heather.
John, before you stop sharing, there's a couple questions that people wanted you to walk through just a little bit more.
Sure.
Can you put a single student into multiple classrooms?
Yes.
Can you show that for us just super quickly here?
So if I have a student right now, Chris, right here, and Chris right now is in TJ's classroom, and I want to move Chris, I can move Chris to another classroom and put him in Cammie's room. Now, oh wait, what happened? What did I do wrong, Heather? Here he is here. Oh, I have to copy him first, right?
Yeah, move or copy.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
Uh,
keep him in the current classroom.
Again,
Yep.
do as I say, don't as I do. Remember to check the box. So right
Check the
now he's in
box.
Cammie's classroom. I want him to go back to TJ's classroom. I click there, and now he's back in Eagle Readers. I'm going to put him there. He's reassigned. So now he's in Eagle Readers and he's in Cammie's classroom. What's great about this is if you are sharing a student with another teacher, so if you're in a Boom Access Plus or a Passport account and you have the ability to share, you can really share that student in a lot of innovative ways and it transfer them back and forth. It's a great way to get the speech therapy data, get the OT data, get the ABA data, whoever's working with the kid, you can see that. So yeah, the kids can rest anywhere and the teacher of record keeps that student. So if I delete them, if TJ shared them with me and I delete them from my account, maybe I'm not, as a speech therapist, maybe I discharge them, I'm done with them. I can remove them and they still stay with TJ. What's the next question, Heather?
All right. We have a couple questions about the classrooms that they previously made. For like last school year, maybe the caseloads have changed,
Clean
classrooms
them
have
up.
changed. Should we archive them or should we delete them?
So what I do, everyone, is I create a master class list, which again, I'm not showing here. Let's say this is my master class list. What I would recommend to do is create a master class. All your kids in one classroom, call it master class list, whatever you want to call it. Once you create that class, you can create all the other individual classrooms below that, and then you can take the kids and bounce them around wherever you want them. So that way, if you have classrooms like this importer classroom, like, the student's gone, they moved out of district, it's been a year, I can just delete this classroom. We are super sensitive about your data, so don't hate us, but you have to go in because we don't want a mistake to happen and do it that way. Now that student is completely gone, that class is gone, and it's gone. And it's asking me if I want to optimize my data, and I can say yes.
Awesome.
Next question.
Couple questions about passwords.
Ah,
So, sometimes they generate some wonky passwords. Can they edit or change the password for their classroom?
so you can set your passwords. I can reset all my passwords. I can include picture passwords. So if you have students that are dysgraphic or agraphic, letters and numbers don't make sense to them, you can give them pictures to log in. You can also, when you're in their classroom, I can go in, I think I'm under Bell right now. I can go to her password and I can change her password. I have picture passwords turned on and I can say snake, cat, and butterfly. Change the password. Now, when Bell goes to log in, that could be her new password. But yeah, you have the ability to modify their passwords however you want.
Yes, I used to set it too. I know this is not super secure and safe, but I used to set my whole classroom with the same password. So that was really helpful for my paraprofessionals or
Exactly.
related service that were in the classroom that they would
Yep.
know our code word basically for that, for the Boom logins for all my
And
students.
just so you all know, we were just given an award for one of the most secure data sites in the world for student data. We don't collect any identifiable student data. No last names, no social security numbers, no birth dates. Like we keep it really minimized. So if we do get hacked, they can't get anything of interest from us. Um, there are other sites like ours that don't have that same level that really struggle. So we're very proud. Sadly, I think we have more legal people tied to our company than developers sometimes, but it's because we do take the data sensitivity very seriously within the company.
Awesome. Can they modify usernames as well? Say maybe it's set up and you
Absolutely.
can change it. Yep.
Because this is horrible. Bell, I don't like this. I just call her Bell and I can just get rid of the number and
I believe
that's
you
it.
do need to have a number. No, you don't. Okay, you
Nope.
used to be have to. That's great.
Yep.
Great. All right, more questions about passwords. Can we move a student from one classroom to another without changing their QR code password?
Oh,
Or is
that's,
it a QR code password is separate for each classroom?
yeah.
That's what I
So,
believe as well.
so no, you can't. So that classroom is going to have its own QR code. So when they go to log into that classroom, they would have to know, you'd have to assign it to that classroom and let them know what classroom they're going into.
Yes. All right. All right, couple questions about folders and kind of more just ease of the platform. Can we customize the order that the folder is in, or is it always alphabetical order?
It's all you. So again, you guys, I'm sorry. I would love to be able to customize our folders. Right now, today, they're alphabetical. Now, Heather has put a request into Dev where we actually want to have folders and subfolders and let people color code and line up your folders how you want. So
Yep.
ultimately, what I'd love to have happen is if I was running our dev department, I would want my class schedule to flow like my day flows. So, morning meeting to my story time or, to comprehension activities to whatever, and then have that same flow happen within the library.
Yep.
We're working on that. What you'll notice, half of our company is development. So just so you guys know, and we're a small company, there's only 30 employees. Um, Throughout the year, we keep doing updates to the website, the app of Boom. As we roll stuff out on our website at www, our www website, we will be giving notifications of like, hey, this feature is new, or hey, this feature is new. We just launched our new website 2 weeks ago, and there's a banner up top that will tell you all of the new stuff that we've changed. We modify a lot of content, of functional content as well as new content constantly. So keep your eyes out for that because you'll see banners on both when you're in the app, you're actually on the if you look at your app settings, it's www@boomlearning.com. When you're on our website, it's www.boomlearning.com. When you're in the app, there'll be banners of the new features that are available.
Awesome. All right. Is
But when do
there
we when do we get start to when can I start charging for questions?
a How about 3 more minutes?
Okay, cool.
Okay. Is there a way to streamline so that each teacher with their related service providers, say they're on a team, could have access to the student? Is there a good way to streamline that?
If you're in a Boom Access Plus or a Boom Passport, you can share access with your related service people. The other thing you can do is if I'm a speech path and I have my Boom subscription, I would, and maybe I'm not part of a managed account, meaning I'm not Boom Access Plus or Boom Passport, but I have a premium account and Heather has a premium account. Heather could build me a class in her folder. So when I come into her room, I could have my stuff ready to go in there and we could work that way. There's a, again, when the company built this product, there's not a lot of guardrails in the product. So people ask us, are there workarounds? And more often than not, it's like, yeah, kind of. You might have to ask us how to do it, but we kind of know some sneaky workarounds that you can do.
Awesome. All right, we got one more question.
Sure.
How do we know where to go if I want to see that a student has done the assignment that I've given them?
So when you're in your classes, and if I go back to Chris, who is in Cammy's room, I believe, and I go and I look at his individual assignments, if this was assigned to him, and when I go back to him now, when he does it, you'll see that he's working through it. I just want to make sure I signed it. So right now, Chris, you'll notice that in the Labor Day room, I assigned Chris this individual assignment. It's now assigned to him. He probably has other, if I click on passport folder, you can see, again, do as I say, not as I do. Here's all the decks that have been given to Chris, but they're not assigned to him yet. So as you start seeing, let's see if I can find a better one that actually has something that he's done. Texas content, super math. No, these are all demos. So I apologize, you guys. I don't see a good one that's in here, but Once they're assigned, you can tell if he's in there and doing them. Yeah, I don't see one that I have. No.
Okay, no worries. But the reports would show up there and you would be able to see
Yeah.
how they
So,
were
and
participating.
when you drill into Chris's reports, um, he was in the Eagle Readers.
TJ, yeah. I don't think
Um,
he had anything yet.
Let me go look at his data though. That will give me an idea really quickly.
Reports.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can see I used to have he was working on counting with a cute little activity in another classroom. I don't know where that classroom is, but you can see what's been assigned. And if he would do it, you'll get some data on the right here that you can click in to see how he did it. So if he did comparing numbers 0 through 10, I could click in here and see what he has, but because he hasn't done anything, there's no data behind that right now.
Yep. And if you want to see more about reports, we can definitely do another webinar in the future. I will be sending out a survey shortly after this replay. And if you want to submit any feedback of things that you would like to see more of, we can definitely do that.
What other questions are there, Heather? More?
That's all we got right now. I think I responded to the rest of them in chat. If we did not get to your question, please go ahead and submit that. We have a couple more things and then we will wrap this up.
All right, I give it back to you, Heather. While she's going to share a screen, I just want to reiterate, we know back to school year is super busy. We have a ton of resources. We have a help bot on our website that you can put a help ticket in for. If you're having problems, again, our biggest issue in back to school is getting people back into their accounts. You may have renewed over the summer. Your district might have renewed over the summer. They have to make sure that that registration for you isn't sitting in spam. If it is and you can't find it, please reach out to us and we can do some back channel stuff to get it to work for you.
Yeah. John, do you want to go ahead and let them know Boom Training Academy and what it is?
Yeah, so implementation with complex curriculums is tough. Without the company supporting teachers and school districts, the numbers range anywhere from 40 to 60% failure rate of that product from that teacher's hands because they don't know how to use it. So the team put together a training academy that people can sign up for. It's 100% free. It's a module system where you can log in, go through literally everything. Like if I was standing in front of you guys training you on a Tuesday morning from 8 a.m. until 2 p.m., you would go through everything that I would walk you through. You can get a certificate of attendance for doing it. You can see everything that Heather and I showed you tonight. You will learn how to do. So it's a great way for free for districts or for individual teachers to go through and really understand everything that Boom has to offer. Um, I will tell you, most successful people do a couple of different things with Boom. They get online, they look at our YouTube channels, they get into our Instagram or our TikTok accounts, or they get into Boom Training Academy and they do some of the training. If you type into Google, how do I import a deck from Boom? There's probably 30 YouTube videos on how to do it with 10 FAQs. Because we have, I think we're just over 1.4 million active teachers worldwide on our platform. Our following and our content is super deep. So if you need support, it's out there for you in Google or the other mediums that we talked about. If you can't find it, ping us. We'll get it for you.
Yeah, there's definitely something out there, and I do it all the time. People send me emails and, hey, how do I do this? And I send them articles and short YouTube videos and
Hey, I work here and I do it. I'm
everything.
like, I don't remember how to do that. Where is that? Where's that
Let me find it. Yep,
video? Yeah.
exactly. So I did drop that link in the chat for all of you, and if you're watching the replay, it will be linked below.
And just remember, BTA is free right now. Probably the 27-28 school year, there will be a nominal fee to use it. But because we've built a couple of the modules, we want feedback on them. They're free right now. Probably not this upcoming school year, but the next school year, there's going to be a small fee to use it because it was not cheap to build.
And our last thing that we have here is our back to school campaign is happening right now. Many of you, like you said, are starting back to school either next week or the following. So this resource page here that I'm dropping in the chat right now has a ton of resources, activities, printables for your classroom, set up classroom decor. You can create a boom card station. We even have a little boomy mask that you could try on and take some pictures around your classroom and share kind of what you've been doing as you set up your classroom. There's a printable about how to play boom cards so you can teach it to your students in an easy, fun, and engaging way. So grab all of those resources on that page. There's a ton of information about back to school and ways that we are helping you, including all of these really cool decks that you're seeing being played on the screen right now. Those are all free. You can review classroom procedures, do some icebreakers, getting to know you activities. Those are all free in our Boom stores and then linked on that page as well. All right, and here are our emails. If there are any additional questions, if you want to learn about becoming a publisher or just want to know more about something that I talked about, my email is there. John's email is there as well. And then our help center. If you ever see a glitch or an issue or something doesn't look right, our help desk is the best place to go to get an answer super quickly. Like John said, our team is working hard to make sure that we get an answer within 48 hours, 2 business days. And if they don't have an answer, they'll tell you, hey, we're working on it. We'll get back to you soon. But that is it. There were no more questions. So thank you so much for spending your time with us and spending a Thursday night or watching the replay. We appreciate it. We know it's a busy, busy time this school year. So thank you very much for being
Thanks,
here.
everyone.